All right, the president and CEO of America First Policy Institute and former director of White House Domestic Policy Council for the Trump administration, Brooke Rollins. Brooke, it's so good to see you. Welcome to the show.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, I'm sure you have something to say about that CNN article. It would call you a Trump devotee. What's your take?
Well, I'm still amazed at the misinformation and just the complicit fake news media on everything that we accomplished in the last 4 years. Every single day, this president, President Trump, woke up with the American people first in his mind, not the special interests, not the media, not the elites, not the academic institutions, but the American people. And it really sent everyone, including CNN and these stories, into a tailspin. But the real story is the success of the 4 years. And that's really what I think really has them spinning. If you read further down into that article, you see the real headline that Texas picked up 2 congressional seats, that Florida picked up seats, that the old tried blue state governance isn't working, that people are moving to my home state of Texas and other red states. And that really goes to what this president fought for and won on in his 4 years in the White House. And that was the American people. And we saw it across every single lane of policy: jobs, national security, opportunity, et cetera. So I say bring it on.
Brooke,
keep it coming, friends.
Exactly. There you go. They're intimidated by the success. We've been looking at all of these groups that top staffers like you have gone on to start since leaving the White House and continuing the president's policies. You guys founded America First Policy Institute. Tell us what it seeks to do.
Well, Sean, thank you. And how fun to see you again, my friend. So America First Policy Institute is really founded on the premise that the concept of putting Americans first had really never been put forward. I am a longtime conservative movement person. I ran the Texas Public Policy Foundation for 15 years before I joined the administration. Before that, I was Governor Rick Perry's policy director back at the beginning of his time. The setting up the infrastructure for what we know is right: freedom, liberty, prosperity, opportunity, less government. This president proved that out in a way that had never been done before in this country. To think we had more jobs than people to fill them, to think we brought soldiers home for the first time, to think we put America first as we were working on Middle East peace and trade with China, et cetera. It was groundbreaking and it was transformative. So my good friends Larry Kudlow, John Ratcliffe, Rick Perry, Linda McMahon, really many of the top former cabinet members and leaders of the America First agenda under President Trump's leadership, we said we have to continue the momentum. Where will frankly, the mothership of the movement continue after the president leaves office? And this isn't a 2-year play. It's not a 4-year play, although we do care about who goes, wins the House and who ends up in the White House in 4 years. This is a 100-year play for the soul of this country, and the America First Policy Institute will lead the way.
Brooke, have you received support from the president for your initiative? I know that he's been outspoken about America First since he's left the White House.
He has. And, I being his domestic policy chief and working alongside him for 3 of his 4 years, and frankly, working to implement his vision of less government and more opportunity, it was a blessing and it was magical to be a part of that. And so he is so excited about this kind of furthering of what we began in the last 4 years. But he also understands this isn't about Donald Trump. This is not about the last 4 years. This is truly about the future of this country. And whether he's in the White House again in 4 years or whether it's someone else taking on his legacy, this is about the mayor of Glen Rose, Texas, where I grew up. This is about the county commissioner in Tampa, Florida, and the type of leadership and the policies they want to enact. And, it isn't, from my perspective, Republican or Democrat. It truly is nonpartisan. It's returning power to the people, the concept that our founding fathers first initiated under self-governance, that became the greatest concept of government in the history of the world, and that's the United States of America. So the president is all in. We're really excited to continue what he began on into many, many decades and generations ahead.
Can you just give us a little insight into how this worked? In other words, did you go down to Mar-a-Lago, walk them through the process and the people? How did you guys get the blessing to go forward with this?
Well, we started talking about it. Frankly, this really began even before the election. How do we make sure in a second term was the conversation then? How do we make sure that America in 2025, after another 4 years of the president, but really America at 250th birthday, which is in 5 or 6 years, America at 350, how do we ensure that this transformative, disruptive, return power to the people concept doesn't go away after Donald Trump moves on into his next phase? And of course, at that point, we assumed and we knew, and it should have been an immediate contiguous 4 years, but talking through that and understanding how policy really does change lives, how less government and fighting the beast of the sort of the big government, the leftist, the radical agenda, how that doesn't stop when Trump leaves office. Right. So that's really been a conversation we've talked about. We went to speak with him. We talked to him in the White House a few times, my great partner Larry Kudlow and others. And then eventually, once he got to Mar-a-Lago, we've obviously stayed in touch. His number one primary focus is not elections. It is how we save this country. And along with our organization, so many other great ones, that's how he believes we're going to do it. Elections are important, too, obviously.
Yes, definitely. All right. Well, thank you. Congratulations on the Institute. You can find out more about what Brooke and the group are doing at AmericaFirstPolicy.com.